Hello everybody, it is Tom and welcome to another video. There's hair in my mouth. Is there ever a time when there's not hair in my mouth? So hi! I initially had the idea for this video back right after watching Heartstopper. Right after I started making videos about Heartstopper. And I finally today felt like making it, so here we are. So today we are going to be talking about a rather divisive character. Some people love him, some people hate him. I think everyone can agree that he has some great one-liners.
You clearly didn't get hugged much as a child, but if you're craving human contact that badly, you could just say so.
Tao.
But the character we're going to be talking about today is Mr. Tao Xu. Now, I would like to say, I do think Tao definitely makes some mistakes. And he goes a bit overboard on some of the things that he does. But the point of this video is to look at things from Tao's point of view and try to understand him a little better and why he does the things that he does. Okay? Okay. And my lips are chapped. Must fix this with my peach lip balm, which I can smell again. Hooray. So, let's talk about Tao. Alright, so I think in order to understand why Tao acts the way he does in the show, I think we have to first take it back to the events before the show. And these are hinted at in the show, and of course we get a little bit more of them in the comics, but regardless, okay. So, before the events of the show, we know Elle was coming out as trans at an all-boys school and experiencing some awful bullying. Charlie had been outed as being gay and was experiencing some awful bullying. So we have this group of four, Isaac, Elle, Tao, and Charlie. Half of this group is getting bullied, and the other half is Isaac, who very much does not want to get involved in anything. Like, he's very much the non-confrontational, read a book on the sidelines and just pretend to be invisible kind of person. Very perceptive, sees what's going on, but does not really get involved. So essentially, of this friend group, the only person who could stand up for Charlie and Elle, the only person who could really be there for them, was Tao. So I see Tao kind of taking on this position as really the only line of defense for his friends. He's the one standing up for them. He's the one comforting them when they're having terrible, terrible times. Like, we see this in the comics where he and Charlie are talking about the fact that Tao was the only one there to comfort him. Now, in the comics at that time, they didn't really know Elle and Aled too well yet, which I'm not sure if they're going for that here, because it sounds like the friend group was still together at that time. But whatever the case. So we have Tao, comforting Charlie, being there for him, trying to help him through this really difficult time, and at the same time, being there for Elle. Elle even says in episode 7 that she vented to him a lot while she was being bullied.
I feel like I'm always offloading my problems onto you.
I mean, I did the same thing to you in my last term at Trim, so it's basically payback.
Elle was going through a lot, and Charlie was going through a lot, and Isaac was kind of like, on the side, just doing his thing. So Tao was the one trying to hold their friend group together. And then, the bullying with Charlie started tapering off. So Tao wasn't super needed there anymore. And then Elle transfers to an all-girls school, which Tao knows is a good thing. But also, now in the comics, we get the impression that Tao has been crushing on Elle for a while. But in the show, it's implied that Tao doesn't really realize his feelings for Elle until episode 8. I mean, I think it's pretty clear he's been crushing on her the whole time. He just didn't realize it. So he's dealing with this person he has a crush on, who he doesn't know he has a crush on, suddenly moving to another school. He doesn't get to see her anymore. They have these missed connections like we see in episode 1 where they want to walk home together, but neither of them can find each other. So we have Tao going through that. And that's tough. Like, for so long, it was the four of them all together as a group. Tao was the one, fighting to hold them together, and then Elle leaves, and he's happy for her, but at the same time, it hurts him. So then, we have Charlie developing this crush on Nick, and we know from the fact that Tao tells Isaac, what have I told you about encouraging Charlie's crushes on straight boys?
But we don't know if she actually likes Nick back.
Isaac, I've already warned you about encouraging Charlie's crushes on straight boys.
But I want to believe in romance.
So it's clear that they've been through this before. Charlie has had crushes on straight boys before, and it has not gone well. And if we look at what Tao knows, so Tao knows, number one, the rugby lads are the same kinds of people, or even the same people, who were bullying Charlie the year before.
He is the star player on the rugby team, and he's friends with a bunch of loud, gross Year 11s who are exactly like the guys who bullied you last year.
Number two, Charlie tells Tao Nick is straight. Well, he says like, I know he's straight, he told me.
I know he's straight, he told me.
So you need to get over him.
So Charlie full on tells Tao Nick is straight, okay? So this is the information Tao is working from. Then Tao overhears Nick accepting a date with Imogen.
Yeah, I guess so, sure.
Oh, yes,
And he also hears from Nick's friends that Nick has been in love with a girl for years and years.
Nick likes a girl. Like, he's in love with a girl.
So, to Tao's mind, it's pretty clear that Nick is straight, okay? And then at the bowling alley, he very clearly sees Nick flirting back with Charlie.
You definitely cheated.
Oh yeah? How?
You have strong rugby arms.
Strong rugby.
You okay?
Yeah. I'm good.
It's very clear that Charlie is really into Nick, and Nick seems to be reciprocating. Now, based on the knowledge that Tao has at this point, Charlie said Nick was straight. Nick has a history of liking girls. Nick is currently dating a girl, it would seem, because nobody tells Tao that Nick and Imogen don't actually go out. So, even though it's Charlie's birthday, which this is a bad move from Tao, but even though it's Charlie's birthday, Tao cannot keep it in anymore. He has to confront Charlie about this and give him the truth. And, I don't think that his decisions are great, but to be fair, Tao is not seeing all of the beautiful moments between Nick and Charlie. The only time he really sees Nick is when Nick is with his rugby friends. And when Nick is with his rugby friends, he's on guard. Like, he might shoot Charlie a little glance, but, he's not looking at Charlie when he's with his friends the way he does when they're alone in form. I mean, alone, but, So this is the information that Tao has. So another thing that Tao is seeing is Charlie seemingly doing things that are out of character for him suddenly. So he joins the rugby team, and he's spending all this time with Nick, and he goes to Harry's party, which, as Tao says, is something that, Charlie never would have done before.
He's gone to one of Rich Boy Harry's parties, for God's sake. Last year, he would have rather died than go to one of those.
Well, I don't think he's there to see Harry.
So, Elle rightfully points out, it's not about Harry, it's about Nick and hanging out with Nick and stuff like that. But all Tao sees is Charlie going down a road that he's been down before and heading for certain heartbreak. Tao is certain that Nick is straight, because Charlie tells him that, and the only reason he can think of for Nick to be flirting with Charlie is that he's messing with him, he's setting him up for a joke, he's stringing him along, he's doing something nefarious. Now, every moment that Tao spends with Nick in the company of Charlie, Nick is wonderful, because Nick is a wonderful guy. But Tao is a suspicious person. And also, he's seen how much damage bullying has done to Charlie in the past. He's seen what rugby lads have done to Charlie in the past. So, I think it makes sense that Tao is really protective and sure that he has to do what's right for Charlie. Now, I think that Tao's whole identity is wrapped up in his friend group. I mean, obviously, we know he's really interested in movies and film and stuff like that. But aside from that, we don't... Hi, Darla. Aside from that, there's not really... He doesn't really have any, hobbies or extracurriculars or things like that. I mean, his art project that's supposed to be a landscape, he draws a picture of their friend group sitting together, being happy, just the four of them. So, like, it's clear that this is a big part of his identity, being the one who protects the friend group, who defends his friends. That's really important to him. So, like, when Harry is picking on Charlie, Tao leaps in every time. Anytime there's a situation where Harry or some of the rugby lads might be about to bully Charlie, Tao is on it. But every time he does that, Charlie kind of rebuffs him. Like, when Tao stands up for Charlie after Harry throws stuff at them, and Charlie's like, oh, you're making things worse. I don't want to drag Nick into this.
You shouldn't have done that. What do you mean? I know you're trying to help, but you're making things worse.
So from Tao's point of view, you know, he's stepping in to try to protect Charlie, and Charlie's like, no, don't do that. And then it happens again later on, like right after Nick and Harry get into the fight at the movie theater. And Charlie's there talking to Harry, and Tao runs in like, you know, what is it? Are you okay? What's going on? And then stands up to Harry then. Charlie's like, just leave it. It's fine.
If you're craving human contact that badly, you could just say so.
Tao, just leave it. Everything's fine.
It's a tricky situation because Charlie literally did not ask Tao to do any of this. Like, he did not ask Tao to stand up for him. He did not ask Tao to, you know, interfere in his life in this way, especially regarding his relationship with Nick. But to Tao, he's doing what's right. Like, Tao genuinely thinks he's doing the right thing. And so if we consider the fact that pretty much all of Tao's energy for the whole, most of the show is focused on keeping the friend group together and keeping Charlie from getting hurt. And then in episode 7, he finds out that everyone else knows that Nick and Charlie are a couple and no one told him. I can understand why he feels betrayed.
Is there something actually going on between Nick and Charlie?
Yeah. They're going out.
Now, I do think that one problem here is that Tao does not have all the information. I mean, that's the problem through the whole thing. Tao does not have all the information. But what Tao finds out, okay, what Tao hears from Elle is Isaac knows, Tara and Darcy know, Elle knows, you are the only one Charlie hasn't told.
Who else knows?
Isaac, Tara, and Darcy. But Charlie wants to tell you himself. Well, he said he wanted to tell you himself.
What Tao doesn't know is that Nick is the one. Oh, she's gonna rub her face on my bookshelf. Nick is the one who told Tara and Darcy. And Nick is the one who told Elle. And Isaac guessed because Isaac knows all. So it wasn't a case of Charlie not telling Tao. It was a case of Charlie knowing that Nick was not ready to come out, and so letting Nick take the lead on that. And it's only when Nick comes out to Elle that Charlie realizes Nick is okay with their friend group knowing, or with his friend group, whatever. So at that point, I assume he's trying to find a way to tell Tao. And because Tao has been so negative towards Nick this whole time, it's understandably a little bit difficult for Charlie to broach that subject. And especially with all that's going on with him emotionally at this point, because right after the Milkshake Cafe, that's when he goes out to the movies with Nick. That's when, you know, Charlie starts feeling like they should break up so that he can protect Nick from, you know, losing all his friends and getting into fights and all that crap. So, like, if you're thinking about breaking up with someone and going through all this emotional stuff, it's not going to be at the top of your mind to be like, oh, I should tell my best friend that I'm in a relationship, or that I have been in a relationship with this person for all this time. So, like, I can understand why Charlie doesn't tell Tao at this point. It makes sense. But from Tao's point of view, all he sees is everybody knows. I've spent this whole time trying to protect Charlie, and he didn't even tell me. We're supposed to be best friends, and he didn't even tell me that he was going out with Nick. So Tao is hurt and frustrated and sad and a lot of things. And then it all comes to kind of a fever pitch when Harry approaches him that day when he has the shoe potato and, like, steals the shoe potato, and Tao just loses it. Tao has a lot of frustration building up at this point, so he just goes in and is smacking him with his hat and stuff like that. So then when he sees Charlie after that, he says probably the most damaging thing he could ever say to someone like Charlie, which is, "It's all your fault."
I thought we were friends, but I guess you've just forgotten about me.
Tao,
This is all your fault. Just leave me alone.
Now, I find it very difficult to defend Tao in that moment because he knows Charlie. He knows Charlie blames himself and apologizes for everything, so he knew that was going to hurt Charlie like nothing else. But that's what friends do sometimes. I mean, I've definitely been in that situation, and I don't know anyone who hasn't, where you've said something really hurtful to a friend because they hurt you first. So I'm not defending Tao, but I'm saying I understand, and I think most of us have been there before. So, okay. So then, from this point on, Tao gives Charlie the silent treatment, which is super mature, but... And then when Nick comes to talk to Tao at the picnic table, I think we see Tao mellowing a bit and just, I guess believing for the first time that Nick genuinely has feelings for Charlie. Like, I feel like from the moment that Elle told Tao that Nick and Charlie were a thing, up until this moment, it's kind of been like working through the gears in his head. Like the gears have been turning, and he's been going back through everything that has happened and trying to reconcile the facts that he thought were the facts with what has actually turned out to be true. So now, finally talking to Nick, he's able to kind of see Nick's side of things and understand that Nick really does like Charlie and is not setting him up for anything, and doesn't want to hurt him. So then finally Tao is able to kind of make a connection with Nick to a certain degree and give him some very good advice and stuff like that.
You should talk to him.
yeah, so should you.
No. I'm gonna stay pissed off with him for a bit longer.
At that point, he also says, we can also really hear the bitterness in his voice where he says, like, I deserve to be appreciated, and, I can't remember exactly what he says, but the main idea is that, can you tell, like, I have all the Nick and Charlie lines memorized, but the Tao lines I don't remember. Basically, the point that he's trying to make is that he's putting all this energy into their friendship, his and Charlie's, but he feels like he's not getting anything back.
I'm done trying to protect him when he's forgotten I exist. Like, I deserve to be appreciated.
He feels like Charlie doesn't care for him as much as Tao cares for Charlie. And we also see this come out where Tao is talking to Elle, saying, once you get into a relationship, friendships don't matter anymore.
Once you get into a relationship, friendships don't matter anymore.
So he's clearly afraid of losing Charlie. And, I think that's definitely tied into his bitterness here. Like, he clearly has abandonment issues. And just the fact that he's made his whole life this friend group for so long and now is seeing it shatter and feeling betrayed and feeling like, I put in all this effort to hold us together and I'm just being pushed away. That gets to you. And especially for someone like Tao, who is a bit sensitive and a bit fiery, it makes sense that this would bother him. So, anyway, I think with the conversation with Nick, Tao starts to forgive Charlie for the perceived wrongs. Now, in this case, Charlie didn't do anything wrong. It's just the fact that Tao felt betrayed because of the lack of information and how things turned out. It was just the circumstances. But Tao starts to forgive him to a certain degree. He's still a bit bitter because we see him at sports day the next day talking to Elle, and when Elle asks, where's Charlie, Tao's like, oh, he's probably with the rugby lads, blah, 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 blah.
Where's Charlie?
Haven't seen him.
He's probably with the rugby team.
So clearly, Tao has not seen any of the suffering that Charlie has been going through. Like, even when Nick comes up to talk to him at the picnic table, he's like, oh, I thought Charlie was with you. So he's just assumed that during this whole time, Charlie has been off having the time of his life with Nick and the rugby lads while Tao has been suffering. He hasn't seen that Charlie has been pushing Nick away too and hiding away. So the first hint that he has of this is when he talks to Nick. Okay, so then finally sports day, Tao is in a jam. He's going to have to run. He doesn't want to. And Charlie, with no hesitation at all, is just like, swap bibs with me. I'll read it for you. I'm very sorry. Well, he says, I'm sorry for everything. And I think at that point, Tao finally sees how much Charlie is hurting over everything. With that combined with, seeing him kick ass in the race and kind of remembering, like, I think it's a moment where Tao and Elle and Isaac are cheering Charlie on. They feel connected. They're all connected in one common pursuit again. They all want Charlie to win this race. And Tao kind of feels like his friend group maybe isn't so broken after all. So after that, he finally is able to apologize to Charlie and understand that, yeah, he made it pretty difficult for Charlie to tell him.
I made it so hard for you to tell me.
I should have been looking out for you as much as you were looking out for me.
And they hug, and it's great. So I'll be very interested to see where Tao's character goes in the next season. Because, of course, a lot of the next part of the comics is Tao finding out about Nick and Charlie, but he already knows. So I hope we're going to get to see more of Tao being friends with Nick, because that to me is one of the most satisfying friendships. Because, obviously they are not friends in season 1. Yeah, so as I said, I think Tao makes a lot of mistakes. And his behavior at times is definitely questionable, and he comes on very strong. But I think if you look at the information he has, where he's coming from, the fact that his whole identity in life is centered around their friend group, I think his behavior makes sense. I'm not excusing it necessarily, but I think it makes sense. So, okay, so what are your thoughts? Do you have any additional insights into the character of Tao Xu? Yeah, that's it. Okay. All right. So, I have rambled on for a very long time about Tao, so we'll end here. But oh my God, you guys, the tornado siren! Why? It's like they sense when I'm making a video. They wanted. Okay, so it should turn off in a minute because this is just a test. There, it's quieting down now. We had 2 new donations. Darla, oh, Darla, it's okay, baby. Come here. Yeah, come here. Come here, my girl. Come here. Oh, are you okay? Are you all right? Was the loud noise very scary? Okay, so as I was saying, there were 2 new donations to my top surgery GoFundMe recently, so I wanted to say a very big thanks. Both of them were anonymous. One of them was for $100, and the other was either $20 or $30. I can't find where I wrote it down. But thank you so much, and massive thanks to everyone who has donated so far. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I know I say that every time, but seriously, you guys are absolutely amazing. And speaking of amazing people, thank you so much to the patrons who are wonderful, and as we speak, or as I speak, are voting for the topic of the next video. So thank you so much, and a shout out to our Nick Nelson members, Kelly Walker, Book Nerd Charlie, and Paul Z. And yeah, thank you to all of you, everyone who watches this or likes or comments or any of that. You're all amazing, and you're great, yes. Oh, and also, finally, we had a poll the other day, both on Twitter. It wasn't really a poll on Twitter, it was just me asking. But on Twitter and in our community feed, and in our community tab, asking how tall you think I am. So we had a variety of responses on, I would like to say, to the people who, on Twitter and in the community tab, who thought that I was taller than like 5'10" or 5'11", bless you. Thank you. So, sadly, I am not a tall person. Technically, at least the last time I got measured, I am 5'3"3/4". So I usually just say I'm 5'4", because who wants to say I'm 5'3" 3/4"? So people who voted for 5'4", great. People who voted for 5'3", great. You're all winners. Everybody's a winner here. But yeah, that is how tall I am. I feel like I should be like 5'7". Like, I feel like that would be a good height for me, but I'm not. But I will say that my whole family is pretty short. Like, my mom is 5 feet tall, and of my younger brothers, one of them is like 5'7" or 5'8", and the other one is 5'2". So I'm not the shortest brother, but I am short. So All right, so that is all. I hope you all are having a wonderful whatever time of day it may happen to be, and I will see you next time. So.